Back over to the scene with Mr. Xibid. Um, the Xibid downs the drink like pretty hastily. It looks like he's like really thirsty, and he goes back to pacing back and forth. And he says, "Ah, yes. And how have you been, Mr. Cavendish? Last I heard, you are still on the run somewhere. Is that still true?"
No, not at all, Mr. Xibid. I did run in some trouble. I was in deep in the darkest, worst you could imagine. We were trying to retrieve some kind of idol or something. Anyway, the podunk guy that was with us tripped some kind of mechanism. Would you believe I was nearly flattened by a boulder during the whole thing? Anyway, though, we got out of that okay. Everything's been fine since then, and no one really talks about the thing at the tower the other year. So, I guess it's been pretty chill. What I'm curious about, though, Mr. Xibid, is you're a man of business, and I respect that. What is your ask?
Depends on how much you want to know.
Well, I want to know quite a damn bit.
He ponders. He paces back and forth a little bit. He eyes you and eyes your somewhat well-off looking friend.
To sipping my beer, I go, "How is your drink?"
"Oh, it's quite delicious. Thank you so much. That reminds me." And he like downs the rest of it.
And now the con save.
I have rolled it for him. He got a 4.
Okay.
He got a 4. He got
Oh, nice.
He has a fairly low con to begin with, but
Nice.
it's like, all right, well, if you want to know, and he pulls up his hand and he kind of waves it a bit. He says, "If you want to know when the guards rotate, that'll cost you 50 gold. If you want to know the inner mechanisms that run the place, that'll be another 200 gold. If you want to know the names and lists of every person who comes in and out of that building, that'll cost you 5,000 gold."
Mr. Xibid, I didn't come here to see your menu. What I came here for was from useful information and to hopefully make a transaction of some kind. Is there any chance that you would be interested in any amount of post-work percentages?
Post-work? What are you intending to do with this, Mr. Cavendish?
Well, what I'm intending to do with this is to make a living.
Well, I hear they have all sorts of strange things in that vault. Fetch me something that I can get a pretty penny for, and perhaps we can use that as part of this.
I'm amenable to something similar to that. Can't make any promises immediately, as I don't know exactly what all is in there.
Oh.
But what I can tell you is that if you're looking for some sort of financial remuneration for your information, then you're going to receive a much better payday on the back end than on the front end. And you know I'm good for it.
Roll me a persuasion with advantage.
Sure thing.
Oh, nice. I didn't even have to step in there.
Yeah. He says, well, Mr. Cavendish, you know I can't argue with that face of yours. Very well, I will try to divulge everything that I've learned, and do know that you are the first to get this info. Someone else was asking for it as well, but they seem to be a bit more blunt than my tastes. You seem to appreciate the finer things. He kind of he smiles.
We are gentlemen, after all.
Yes, indeed. So, the first thing I am going to let you know is, I don't know what you've already heard about the place, but it is rigged with strange traps throughout. I hope you brought some sort of way to dispel or get rid of those sorts of things. Now, one of the security officers has actually left town for a few days to take care of something, so you kind of picked a perfect time to inquire about this. That should at least make, if things get sour, a little easier. I do know that they are planning to move a good chunk of the artifacts into a different place tomorrow morning. If it's whatever you're looking for, I'm unsure, but I do know that will mean their security will likely be spread a little thin. There is a sewer system that runs, and I believe there's an entrance to it. One of my lovely little informants gave me a vague map of the sewers, and he kind of like pulls out this like parchment and a very crudely drawn map. It's hard to really tell where anything is. It's almost as if like someone in their early teen years perhaps drew this map, and one of them says like main sewer entrance, and then like a funky like couple walls, little things, definitely not drawn to scale, and then there's like a little thing off in the corner that's like it has like a whole bunch of different spots. Like it's one of them's to get to the north side of town, to get to like the below the tavern. One of them goes off to the west side, and then one of the labels listed is in fact the Vault of Wardens, which is what the Archmage's Tower has been renamed to. This should at least get you somewhat near there. I hear there's all sorts of strange things in the sewers, and if I were these vault guards, I might have someone positioned down there. And he says, another thing, there's several different types of folk that guard this place. We have your standard muscle, easy to deal with, likely not one to fight to their dying breath for such a cause. And then there are ones that are, I believe, more privileged, that guard the vault themselves. They may possess some magic or perhaps even some loyalty to the treasure, and for those I recommend a bit of caution. One of them I know I've seen once before has a certain infatuation with binding spells. So be careful with that one. And he says, if you're looking for ways to bypass the initial, I don't know what you call it, initial set of security, I hear you're supposed to have some sort of trinket that will make sure the traps don't immediately vaporize you. And he gives you a small list of names. Let me double check I don't screw up these names. Ver's head security officer has one. Sizik's Silver Scale has one, and I believe that person is related to that lovely sound of music you hear outside. He kind of sighs. dang racket. The person, the other security officer who left town had one as well. It's unknown if he kept it with him or if it's somewhere at his residence or perhaps even at the vault itself. It's like, that's 3 of them. I don't know how large of a crew you're going to be running this operation with, but that should help at least a little bit. And there is another, I know there's at least one more, but I have been trying to get information on the one who holds it, but all my sources keep coming up dry. I just know there's some sort of accountant. They kind of keep inventory on what's in the vault.
So out of these, do you know which one would be least likely to be questioned to go inspect the inner vaults?
Likely the head security officer. He seems to have a very hands-on approach to inspecting things. I don't know if he himself has any sort of magical prowess or if he's just a bit overprotective.
Hmm.
But that would be Ver's head security officer.
Hmm.
Do you know where we might find Vers?
As far as I understand, he practically lives at that damn place. I don't know if they have beds set up somewhere in the vault, but I've only ever seen him leave the place once, and that was on some sort of strange holiday celebration.
Interesting. Now, the gentleman who has left town, you mentioned it's possible his residence may be temporarily housing his trinket. Do you have any information on where he may live?
I don't at the moment. I imagine he probably lives somewhere in the Ivy Gate section of town. If he works at that vault, he's probably wealthy, and wealthy folk all seem to come from that area.
Yeah.
Perhaps asking some folks around there. And he does have his name. It is... Pull that list up. Shorkin. His name's Shorkin.
Shorkin.
He seems to like pace a little bit more and kind of slow down his talking as if he's trying to figure out if there's anything else he wanted to say on his initial spiel before he does ask, is there anything else specific you might want to know?
Hmm. Shoot, what was it? The one, you said that one of them was related to the bard out there. Do you know if they happen to leave for town every so often, or maybe meet with
I
their
hear
relative?
I hear the one who who's related to the bard. I hear that he tends to keep to himself. He's an inventor of sorts. I believe he is the one who has devised the traps that protect the vault.
Okay.